Okay, in this one we're going to be shifting our attention from the 12 valve over to my beloved Dakota RT. I love this truck so much. I'm going to start doing some autocross stuff with it, and we need to get some new brake lines in this thing ASAP. Looking forward to this one. Okay, let's get at it. Okay, well, the Dirtbag Dakota is living up to its name. This thing is very dirty. Before we get started on the brakes, I actually really want to do a test and just see if there's going to be any improvement. The rear wheel cylinder on the driver's side is really crusty. It might be seized, I'm not sure, so I'm going to put some new ones on. And then it'll just be new lines and stuff like that. But it'd be nice to get a bit of a baseline, and then possibly down the road, if I put on some EBC pads or whatever, you know, we can try and build on its stopping ability. But right now I'm going to go ahead and see how long it takes for me to get from 60 kilometers an hour, which would be about 40 miles an hour, down to 0. I would imagine that's about as fast as you get going with autocross. I really don't know, but anyways, let's give her a try. So the way this is going to work, I am going to slam on the brakes right by those 3 trees that you can see there. And wherever it stops, I'll make some sort of little marker, and we'll come do the test again and see if it comes up shorter than that. All right, well, that was interesting. As you can probably see, both tires on the passenger side locked up and the other 2 did not, which is kind of weird. Anyways, I have got my little mark right there. Can't imagine that's going to be going anywhere in the next day or 2, so we're going to come back and try the test again and see how it goes. So one thing that's kind of funny about this truck, I've had it and put about 10,000 kilometers on it, and I am on, I think, either my 4th or 5th set of rear tires in that amount of time. These ones I bought off Craigslist off an older guy. I got them for $100. These are Michelin's, basically in brand new shape. These ones have a couple of burnouts on them, but pretty much in perfect shape, and $100 I got for those. Could not believe it. So these tires are not very performance oriented. These things are total grandpa tires, super squishy sidewalls and everything like that. So they're really not going to be ideal for autocross and stuff like that, but I mean, whatever. I'm going out for my first time, and you know, we'll just give her a try. So one of the sets of tires I had on this truck was actually called Goodyear Forterra HL. They were 245 65 17s like these, so a bit narrower than stock and a bit taller. I'm probably going to lower this at some point, but I really like the look of a wheel well being full. So in the meantime, some taller tires I actually kind of like the idea of. But anyways, even though they were the same size, the other ones just seemed way wider, and the handling on them was so much better than these ones. I can't even imagine like a proper set of sporty tires, you know, some 275s or something. This thing is going to be an absolute beast in the handling department. I mean, relatively speaking, I'm not saying this is some amazing handling car, but compared to the trucks I've driven, this thing handles so well. So anyways, let's get it home, start getting her pulled apart, and make some new brake lines, and let's go. Okay, well, I think you'll agree when I say that that wasn't the most confidence-inspiring brake test in the world. You know, I was kind of on the fence about what to do. I knew that the rear driver's side wheel cylinder was probably garbage, but the fact that the front one on the driver's side wasn't locking up or didn't seem to do much, or maybe it's a bad thing that it locked up and the other ones were buggered, but either way, I figured let's just get in there and give this thing a good set of brakes. And in addition to going in this autocross stuff, I'm also going to be doing the Knox Mountain Hill Climb this year, which is kind of like a small regional version of Pikes Peak or any other hill climb. So it would be nice to have some good brakes. This thing is 23 years old with low mileage, so I would almost guarantee that this is all original brake stuff. So what the heck, let's just jump in and do it. Okay, so we've got a new set of front brake hoses. I've also ordered the rear one. That'll be in the morning. We got a new set of front calipers. We have got the double flaring kit here. I also have the bender to go along with that. I think my wife will be back in town tomorrow, so hopefully she brings that with her. We have got a couple of new rear wheel cylinders, different boxes, but same model number. One of them I've had for a while, and the other one I just bought today. Got a new roll of brake line. Hopefully that's going to be enough. We will see. And then I got a thing of brake grease, which probably will be a lifetime supply, but we will see. In addition to that, I'll probably be back and forth to the parts store a few times, getting all fittings and random sort of stuff. But anyways, right now I'm going to get my garage organized a little bit. I'm going to get my little workbench slid off to the side and try and make a bit of room in here. And let's just jump in, get her done. Okay, well, fast forward to a while later. I've got all the lines out now. So let's have a look at them. This one, unfortunately, broke. I was able to get it unscrewed, but the line and the fitting were completely rusted together. So as I was wrestling another thing out, that one just popped off. But aside from that, I was able to get everything out. A lot of them aren't in terrible shape. Stuff like this, that's pretty much done. I don't know how clear it is on camera, but it's quite rusty. Definitely the one that was the biggest problem was this line that goes kind of from the front of the truck to the back of the truck. It is super crusty. So when I redid the brake lines on my 12 valve, I actually just bought a kit for it, and it was piece of cake. If you get to a really tough fitting, you can just kind of cut the line, put a socket on it, and most likely it's going to come off, or it'll be a lot easier. But because I'm making these and it's my first time making them, I really wanted to keep them intact and just try and copy them as closely as possible. So that actually took a long time getting all that out of there. Woo-wee! All right, well, believe me when I tell you the car gods are making me work for this one. So I bought a double flaring kit. I bought a roll of line. I went to a parts store. I called them and just said, I'm planning on making some brake lines, and you know, are you guys gonna have the fittings and stuff? Oh, yeah, we got all that. So I go in there with them. We discover that the fittings are metric, and oh, no, we don't carry anything like that. So I also learned that 2 of them are a regular double flare, I think it's called, and the other vast majority of them are bubble flares. So I went and got another bubble flaring kit last night. Today, just been running around all over the place trying to get all the fittings and stuff, but finally I have got them. I'm ready to start putting everything back together and bending lines and stuff like that. So it is going to be a busy day today. And to be honest with you, because I'm pretty tight for time with this, I have got to get this done by tomorrow night. I am just going to dive right in. I'll try and film when I can, and hopefully we'll get some stuff done today and we can get this thing out and test the brakes and see if it made any difference. So anyways, I got to jump in and get at her. All right, well, believe me when I tell you, it's been a bit of a challenging day. I've been at it for about 11 hours or so now. This whole thing probably would be a one-day project with somebody who actually knew what they were doing, but I've only done 3 rear drum brake things before, all on different vehicles. So anyways, it is coming along. I've got the front calipers, the new calipers mounted with the new hoses mounted. I've got all of the fittings and everything I need. I ended up having to get different wheel cylinders because the ones I had were the wrong ones. Also decided to throw a new hardware kit in the rear brakes, so that's good. All those have been pulled apart, the drum brakes, and put back together. Got the new wheel cylinders in there now, so those are all good to go. And I'm going to start working on the lines now. Anyways, going to keep plowing ahead and trying to get as much done as I can, but it's been one of those days, let me tell you. Okay, well, this is the long one that absolutely had to be replaced. This goes from the front of the truck to the back, obviously. I just have to flare one end and then good to go. So this project really hasn't gone that smoothly. I've come to expect a fair bit of that in general. I mean, it just is the nature of the beast, but this whole thing has just been utterly insane. So I found out that I had to use a bubble flare on the majority of these ends. Bought a kit, It broke the first time I used it. I had to get up early this morning, drive to a whole different town to get a better quality kit. I got through about half of it, and that one broke in a different place. So it's just gotten ridiculous. I've just come to realize that there was two lines that like really needed to be changed, and one that was a little bit questionable. The rest of them, for now, I'm just putting it back together. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon right now. I have to leave the house at about 6 tomorrow morning to go to this autocross thing. So I still need to give myself some time to bleed the brakes and deal with any leaks and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just gonna have to put back together the majority of the lines. You know, most of them are in pretty good shape anyways. And yeah, basically just making this one long one now. Everything else is installed except for the two on the rear axle. And yeah, I mean, it just is what it is. Sometimes things work out, sometimes they don't. And yeah, this has been pretty challenging. This is day 3, taking on a pretty simple project. And anyways, it is what it is. Okay, so this is the first kit that I got. I paid, I think 30 or 40 for it. It actually wasn't that cheap. This is from Princess Auto, which is kind of like Harbor Freight. This one right here, that broke the first time I used it, and I actually put grease on it to try and prolong it. So that kit got absolutely terrible reviews. I was expecting, you know, that I might have some problems with it. A lot of people said that it broke the first time they used it. Yeah, so anyways, that wasn't a huge surprise, but the OTC kit was about 50, but unfortunately I couldn't find one in town this morning, so I went and got this OEM kit from Canadian Tire. I had to drive over to Vernon, which is the same town I'm going to tomorrow for that autocross, so definitely chewed up a bit of the day, but not that big of a deal. And anyways, this one broke in a completely different spot. Yeah, so this is the OEM kit. As I was tightening this wing nut, the pin that holds right down here that goes through that and through this wing nut, it just snapped and pulled right out. And I was just tightening it by hand. I mean, that is insane. Anyways, all good. I've got one more bubble end to make, and bubble flare, whatever you want to call it. So what I'm having to do is just take this C-clamp, put it over this like that, hold it together like what that wing nut's supposed to do, and then go ahead and flare it. So one more to do, and then I'm putting the truck back together. All right, folks. Well, the truck is back on the road, and it's pretty much done. Woo! Okay, well that was a handful, let me tell you. You know, between the whole metric thing and the bubble flare kit and having 2 of the kits fail on me, I probably spent 5 or 6 hours in the last 3 days just driving around trying to find stuff to make this happen. Once I had all of the lines out, I could see that 2 of them were really bad. 1 of them was a little bit questionable, and the rest of them I would say were definitely passable. There's starting to be a little bit of surface rust on them and stuff, but nothing deep or pitted or anything like that. So for the time being, it is just fine. Okay, so looking in here, most of those lines were in really good shape. If you look kind of down back there, there's a couple that I made, but a lot of it was still in really good shape. So in addition to those new lines, I also put in new calipers, all new hoses front and rear, new wheel cylinders in the rear, as well as new hardware kits for the rear drums. So overall the brake system has had a pretty good once over. The discs seem fine, the drums seemed fine. So pretty happy to have it all back together. When I bled the brakes, I did a little bit of light Googling. So on my Dodge Ram, when I'm bleeding the brakes, I go through all of these fittings, and it's made it feel great. I will say the pedal is a little bit squishy right now. I did some Googling. People said just do the standard, you know, right rear, right front, and left front in that order kind of thing. And I did that. And the brakes are working great, but it is a little bit squishy. So I'm probably going to go through it again, all through the master cylinder, I think it is, and the proportioning valve or whatever that stuff is, and just go through everything, because I think there's still a bit of air in the system. But overall, it's feeling way better. And now we're going to go ahead and do that test and see if there's any difference. Hopefully the wheels aren't locking up this time, and hopefully we stop a little quicker than before. So let's go. Okay, well, not sure if you can see, but this is the mark from the first test, and way down there is the mark from the second test. That was test number 1, and that is test number 2. So off of such a low speed test, that is pretty impressive. So I would estimate that is a solid 10 feet or so, maybe 12 feet, somewhere in there, 10, 12 feet. So off of only going 60 kilometers an hour, that is a pretty impressive improvement. Still got a bit of a squishy pedal. I don't know if you could argue that a firm pedal is more likely to lock the brakes up, but overall it feels way better, and no tire squealing at all there. So I would say it was definitely worth the work and the money. A little bit more fine-tuning to go, but that is kind of the name of the game when I'm doing anything. It doesn't seem like I get final solutions very often, but that's okay. So anyways, it has been a crazy few days. Tomorrow morning I got to get up bright and early and drive back to Vernon for the Autocross, which I am super pumped about. So anyways, I hope you guys have a good day. So I want to say thanks for coming along. Please give me a thumbs up and ring the bell and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.